is kind of act like I have younger siblings and like mess with you guys, right? So like when I make those bad jokes and everything, you just have to deal with it. That's like when your older brother or older sister, like is making bad jokes or whatever. Right? The equation of the line that represents the growth of this pattern is exactly what I asked you to do. That is what you're... Yes, but I don't like the word rule, as I've said, like for the past week or two. So we're going to switch over to using the word equation. So that's why I said what I put on the paper and I didn't... All right, let's do... All right. So this chapter... so go ahead and stop doing the homework if you have started doing the homework. This chapter that we're about to head into, and we should have a little bit of time if you still need more time on your test. We should have a little bit of time with that. But we're going to deal with systems of equations. So if you want to see all the chapters broken up, just 2 sections. 5.1, as you can see, deals with the equation of the line that we've been talking about. We used to call them rules. Now we're going to start calling them equations. But what do you notice in 5.2? If you look at that little picture there. Brenda?
Two equation lines are crossing through each other at one point.
Yeah, there are 2 equation lines crossing through each other, and they only meet at a point. So that is what we're going to get to as we get into 5.2. You guys notice how small 5.1 is? We'll be done with this by tomorrow. So let's talk about our math competition that is about to happen. Our trophy here says first in math because it came from a math competition that was before I ever even got hired at Phoenix. But the top part that says 24 game is very soon going to get covered up with either 1A, 3A, or 3B because those are the classes that I teach. How this is going to work, and I teach another class, but it wouldn't be fair. There's only 3 of them, so it's very easy for them to all get their homework done.
Whoa!
Look, they are already doing homework that is days away from now because they're math nerds, and they're like, oh, I want to try this stuff before I even know how to do it. And if you ever want to see me teach in a really weird way, go on my YouTube and watch any of my videos that say HSM2. That's High School Math 2. I teach that class like I know nothing. And we're all learning everything together, which I do that with you guys sometimes. But they get really mad at me. Because they're like, wait, can't we use that thing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of that. So it's one of those sort of teacher things that I do. But it wouldn't be fair for them to compete. So it's my morning Math 7, you guys, and the Math 7 that comes in after you. How is this going to work? Every time I collect homework, which I'm going to sync up, I'm going to have all of my homework collections happen on the same days. So like tomorrow. Everybody owes me homework. Everybody only owes me 1 page. So for Math 7, they owe me 411. Right? Because they're starting Chapter 4. So their start slide looks like this. They owe me 411 tomorrow. You guys owe me 511. Then, based on the percentage of people that turn in their homework on time, based off who's here. If you're absent, that does not count against your class. So please do not freak out and yell at your parents or anything about I gotta go to school! My homework is gotta... It's who's here. Right? How many people could have turned in their homework? Seriously, guys, I've had kids flip out on their parents because they're like, the class is counting on me! We're gonna lose! It's not that dramatic, right? I know. Kids, you get upset. What's up, man?
What if there's no one here?
You're all gone, and I will have thought, again, Thanos.
There's no homework. All of us are gone besides one person.
So then, I'm not going to play the what if game right now. If you'd like to play what if, go watch Disney's new series. Then,
I already finished it.
Then, before winter break, because Thanksgiving break is really soon, before winter break, the class that has held the trophy the most amount of times will get a prize. So probably party instead of class, right? Like we'll do some sort of like little party with pizza or ice cream or something. So every time we do a homework collection, whatever class has the highest percent of their papers turned in, and Math 7's split. It's not like all of Math 7 versus Math 8. It's like the morning Math 7, afternoon Math 7, and you guys. They will get the trophy. So we'll put either 1A, 3A, or 3B on this, and you guys can brag to everyone that you got the trophy for the time being. And then one of the other classes can try to steal it away from you, or if you guys keep, if you hang on to it, your class will just keep hanging on to it, and that'll count as another victory, right? So I'll put a scoreboard up somewhere in the room that says 1A, 3A, 3B, and how many times you've won the trophy, and we're going to hope that there's no tie. I got to do some math and try to make sure that there won't be able to be a tie. Max?
This is a sheet, not a page. A page is a single side of a sheet. So this is a page, this is a page.
Wonderful.
This whole thing's a sheet.
The more you know. Have a star go across the screen right here.
Yeah.
Some of you guys probably don't even get that reference.
No, I
know.
Everyone gets it. I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
How dare.
The more you know is this PBS initiative, and they made commercials about did you know? And they would give you some fact that a lot of people don't know, but probably should. And then it would have a star go across the screen, and it would say, "The more you know."
Oh, it always said it says
I don't either.
So, this lesson should be fairly quick, which is not really fair because then you guys will get time to work on your homework, but shh, don't tell the other classes, and I won't. So, random card time. Random card time. You now have lots of experience working with equations that compare two quantities. For example, while working with the height of a tree, you found this relationship. Y equals 4x plus 5, which compared x, the number of years. We said x is almost always time when we're involving time. And y, its height in feet. So, Max, what's its initial height in feet?
Which one?
Oh, sorry, right.
No! Don't be wrong.
Oh man, what you just did was sell yourself out, but you're not paying attention. That comes back on your desk.
He's right.
Yeah. Okay. If that comes back on your desk, it's mine because you've been having issues with having homework done on time and turned in.
All of it is perfect. Except that one.
No, it's not. What you're saying is not true. We can chat later if you want. But if that comes back on your desk, it's mine. It's math time now, not art time.
Okay.
What is the initial height of our tree?
5.
How do you know?
Because plus 5.
What do we call that value, the math name for it? It's the Y. The best one. It's the Y intercept. So we know. So here's the problem. Then math, and like it said up there, you should have graph paper out, but I only see about half of you with graph paper out. Then math gives us this thing that they call standard form, and it's not the form that we have been used to.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, that is not standard. I don't
It is though, because they named it standard.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing that right now, and I don't understand.
So
I think I like unstandard.
on your graph paper, please write standard form. Okay. To answer the question, do we have to? The answer is always no. But did you have to come to Phoenix? No. Did you have to get out of bed this morning? No.
Yes.
No. You ultimately are in control of everything. So guys, I'm going to humbly ask that you let go of some of the immaturity and those childhood behaviors of but I don't wanna, or do we have to? Guys, we're just here to do math. I will tell you straight up, my favorite class to teach is my high school class. Because they never ask silly questions like, do we have to? They are excited and motivated to do math. And I am on cloud 9 when I get done teaching them. They're awesome. And a lot of you are like that, but some of us are hanging on to some childish things that we really need to let go of. Negative 6x plus 2y equals 10 is the standard form of an equation. What's funny and ironic about that being called the standard form is it's not what we normally use. So I want you to take a moment and try to fix this and put it into our y equals form. So take a moment, chat with your teammates if you need to. How can I fix this equation and get y by itself? So I have to walk back to you after every question. If you don't even have it written down, obviously should. When we think about what we're allowed to do, we can use a visual to help us. I'm going to answer your question in just a second. I just have to find my tab that is open somewhere. Negative 6x positive 2y equals 10. So if I wanted to put these all together, right, I'd have to drag them up here. So negative 6x, every time I drag over, I flip, right? But how could I cancel out the negative 6x? And if we want to just go ahead and leave the y on the left-hand side, because we like the y on the left, how can we, I should probably use cards, got a lot of hands up. McNeil, how could we cancel out a negative 6x? Add 6x to both sides. So the work you want to write on both sides, and what I could show if I went back to that image, is we're going to add 6x to both sides. So I'm going to drag this down here where I got space to work. The writing I should see on your graph paper as I walk around the room is a plus 6x written on both sides. This should be written in red. I don't know why it isn't. There we go. Now, can I actually add 6x to 10? No, so we just write it, right? We can't do it, so we just write it. 2y equals either you can write 10 plus 6x, or if you want to go ahead and put it in the way we like better, put 6x and a positive 10. Because my 6x is positive, my 10 is positive. So now, Lily, can you tell me what... Renal, can you tell me what we should do to this to get the y by itself, quote unquote? We divide both sides by 2, and more so, we're going to say we divide everything. Because when you divide by 2, it is the entire side. So if you can write it like this, and remember to do both pieces, great. If that's confusing, and you want to split it up and show divide by 2, like everything is divided by 2, you can also write it like that. But really, this is just being divided by 2, and then it splits itself just because that's how the division works. Jordan? I mean, that wouldn't be the right way to write it, because this is staying equal because we're doing the same thing on both sides. So y equals 3x plus 5.
I don't have to type 10 by 2. Wait a minute, can you add, because you know how if there's a negative and a positive on the equation that they cancel out? Can you make
As long as they're on the same side.
Yeah, can you make, oh wait. Could you change the 6x to negative 3 and then 3 on the other side?
Are you saying if you divide it first?
If you added for the C of the 5, 4, or here, for this one, for example, could you add positive 3 so you get negative 3 and positive 3? Would they cancel out?
What do you mean
Instead
add
of adding 6x.
positive 3?
X, positive 3x.
Like at the beginning?
Yeah.
It won't cancel.
So
So because we're starting with... Now, here is an alternative route. If Patrick wanted to instead, since he's asking like, can I? He could recognize that everything in the problem is a multiple of 2, And he could start by saying, let's divide everything by 2. And then you would have negative 3x plus y equals 10. Then you could add 3x. 5, thank you. That was not even on purpose, I will be honest. Yeah, make sure you divide everything. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like the thing where you were trying to isolate x, but now we're trying to isolate y.
Now we're isolating y. So let's practice this.
And then that's the rule. Or not rule, but the equation. Yeah.
Let's do. Can I do what?
Go up a bit.
I'm gonna say let's skip A, B, C.
Okay.
Let's skip A through C. Let's look at D. And I bet we can use. No, these are not on your paper. This is still on graph paper. Like this is not 5-4 yet, which that's why I think Max was asking, because 5-4 is on your paper. So Patrick had this interesting idea. And I don't even know if it was his idea, but he made me feel like it was his idea. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we've said it before, but my job as a middle school teacher is to repeat myself. If I write it, you should probably be writing it. Yes, Miss Brown, if I write it, you should probably be writing it. Yeah, that's Miss Brown, by the way. If you haven't met Miss Brown, she is our afternoon evening custodian. She's awesome.
Green and orange on the color contrast.
What?
Try to get that to y equals. Now the last problem, Patrick realized I could start with division.
Wait, why don't we just...
So there are 2 options here. You could, give me one option.
could make it 2y minus 6.
We could, hey, give me your eyes up here.
That's
Watch.
what I'm doing, because I feel like that makes more sense to me.
But that's not the easy route.
That's
The easier is think this through. Guys, turn on your brain. We can distribute first, and this becomes 2y and negative 6. But at the end, we're going to want to get rid of that too. So if instead we start the problem by getting rid of that 2, if I don't want to distribute, just divide. So if we divide by 2, that multiplication never happens. And over here we can divide by 2, and that will give us
X minus 3.
close
Oh, I didn't. Is that plus 3 or?
y minus 3 equals x minus 3, because the 2 over the 2 canceled itself out.
That means x and y
You can
are
just
the
do it.
same. Or they can be any real number.
So then, no, close. Be careful. We're not saying x equals x. Guys, please quit stabbing in a dark room. I'll turn the light on in just a second. Like, just write this down. So if we add 3 to both sides, we get y is x.
Any real number.
No, it's not.
What?
Just stop.
No. Because if it's
The x equals x is any real number. But we have to think about what this actually means. This is y equals 1x plus what? 0. What I think you're trying to say is y and x will always be the same. Because when we go to graph this, careful saying straight line though. What does straight mean? Straight up and down, straight left and right? Like, Max, your hand is up. Thank you.
It is horizontal.
What? Wait, horizontal. Wait.
If X equals Y, you could actually be either. Oh wait, is it a diagonal?
We looked at lines like this, and we said lines like this are y equals a number. right? Because y always stays that number.
Oh,
We looked at lines like this, and we said those are when x equals a certain number always. What we're saying is y is whatever x is.
It's diagonal.
So when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 2. When x...
It's like a multiplication.
It's a proportional relationship.
It's an easy graph.
It's a slope of 1.
Oh.
It's up 1 over 1, 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 up 1 over 1.
Standard graph.
It's the standard
Or
staircase.
down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1,
It's the
down.
standard escalator.
Now, actually, funny enough, you're right, but it has a different name. Hey, I only have a couple more things to ask you to write down. The graph of y equals 1x plus 0. This is what we call... I see pencils not moving, and I doubt... Anyone know what this is called? You have 2 of them. Some of you have more than that. Pants. You're right, it starts with P. You have a guess? Oh, you're right. This is proportional, but that's not actually what I'm talking about. So, this is proportional because the plus 0.
Oh, that makes me think of the song from Schoolhouse Rock.
Alright, now again, please don't be too immature. The parent function gives birth to all other functions. Seriously, that's why we call it the parent function. Every other function that is a line, every other function that is a line, starts with this. Y equals x. And then we mess with it, right? Times blah, 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 right? Minus what? So, come back here. Write down E and try to find the easiest way to solve this. I said easiest. I said easiest.
Not as difficult as other circumstances.
What? He's summarizing the E word. I'm not saying it.
There are many ways to get to Florida. There's one way that will get us there the fastest. With the least amount of tolls, the least amount of traffic, there's a best way. Now, the way that works the best in one situation may not work the best in the next situation. What? Jake is gone. You already volunteered, so did you. So did you. Spencer, what would you want to do first here? Yeah, how? Sure. And then also, so to both pieces, right? Sorry, you said it. I just took me a second to hear it. The only other option, so Spencer said, let's do the multiplication. If you want to get rid of a positive 5, how would we get rid of a positive 5? Minus 5. So, you could do what Spencer said. I'm just going to minus 5 just to get, I don't like it there. I just like, come on, you're in the way. It's kind of complicating things. There are other ways, right? There are other routes to get there. But now, well, I don't know. I don't know if this is the fastest way. I do have a purpose for bringing you this way, though. Gross. No. Grant, do you think that we should divide here like we did in the last problem?
You can, but I'm not going to.
You're not Grant. Grant, thoughts? Hey, Connor, everyone can hear that. I was hoping you would stop on your own. Grant?
No, because if we try to divide by 3, there's 2 y.
Yeah, that 2 kind of tells it, like, this would work nice, this would work nice, but like, So if we divide, we would be dividing by -3, but I wouldn't. I would do what Spencer said and do the distribution. So go ahead and keep going with this problem. Let's see if we all get to the same place. Negative, positive. I was about to say, wasn't there a 1x over there? Careful, you gotta double check your math.
Please excuse this interruption. Could I have Peyton Young to the office? Peyton, please come to the office.
So Spencer had said, oh, I gotta erase some of this crap. So you guys got a moment.
Wait, Mr. Hudson.
I don't think you're confused. Double check your work. -3 times x. Interesting.
I wrote it wrong.
So wait. Guys, if you're not confused, I don't think you're thinking hard, because I'm even confused, and I have the answer key over there. If I add 3x, so again, ask me if you don't know how I got to where I am, but if I add 3x, we get 0 equals 2 what? Wait, what?
That's what I thought. That's so weird.
I divided 0 by 2.
Not possible.
No, you can't divide 0 by 2.
Hey. Let's work through our work, because I think some of us made a mistake way early that we don't realize. I'll come to you in just a second. I do not start with this.
Why did you make us do that?
No, if you subtracted 3 from 5 and got 2, that's wrong. Because order of operations tells us we must multiply before we add or subtract. So if you were multiplying with a 2, you are not following the order of operations. Check your work. It's okay if you did it wrong. This is when it's safe to mess up, because I'm here to tell you, hey, you screwed up. The negative.
I didn't make my 3 negative.
The negative. Everyone finding our mistakes? It's okay that we made mistakes. Max, did you find yours? Because I know we were a little confused when I was back there for a second.
Just explained it.
Just got it?
I
Okay.
did 2, and then I divided everything by 2.
So see why I bug you when you're not paying attention in class?
I was paying attention.
Well, at the beginning you were doing art. So now, wait, this? So are we all okay with how we get down to here now? So wait, if I divide by 2, what do I get?
0.
Not just 0, but y equals 0. So if we go to graph this, how do we graph y equals 0? Well, make y equal 0. Y equals 0 is a horizontal line at 0.
And then if you add something, then you make a horizontal line at that point.
Yeah. One more that we'll do together. Try F. Try F. I can clear the ink off my page more easily if I come over
I feel
here.
like I could have done the Desmond thing, so not harder now. The easiest.
What do we think is the best idea?
I apologize for the interruption. Could I please have Darren Gutierrez to the office? Thank you.
Hey, office. just to let you guys know, because she probably won't say anything, it's actually pronounced Marina. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's also not necessarily spelled that way. So we can go through the names if you'd like at some point. It's the other office trying to operate for both offices to call kids down. There's only the PA in the Perry side of the office because they still haven't gotten the phones all figured out. We've got them almost there.
Maria's way too nice to say anything about it.
Yeah, she absolutely would not correct somebody. I just want the office to start to know who kids are, because that helps our relationship around here. Guys, you don't have to start by distributing that negative, but I would, because it's saying do the opposite of everything in here. So it becomes x a negative y, so you could do minus y, or you could write plus negative, and then a negative 2, so you could either write minus 2 or plus negative 2. But wait, there's more. What else can I do when simplifying?
The rest.
The 2! So 2 times 2, 2 times 1, oh, those aren't as bad. So 4x and 2. Oh, man. I see a snag we're going to hit. If I take away x from both sides, I have negative y, negative 2, 3x, 2.
Add 2 to both sides.
Yeah, I like that. I'm still going to hit this weird snag, though.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not sure what to do.
We get negative y equals 3x plus 4. Nevin?
Well, I kind of figured something out. What you do to get rid of this pesky negative here is take it and put it on there.
On one of them? Both of them?
Both of them. Yeah. How you do is you just add y to both sides, minus these, and basically you just switch them sides and switch them.
Yeah, can I show this real fast?
Yes.
What Nevin said, please don't write this.
I already did.
But no, you probably hopefully didn't write all of this. What Nevin said was add y on both sides, but then subtract 3x on both sides, and then subtract 4 from both sides, and finally y's over there and everything else is over there. Or
Just take the negative and just flip it over the wall.
times negative 1. What does multiplying by a negative with a negative do? Oh, it makes it positive.
Hey, you have to write out
So
both
if
sides.
we do it over here, everything's going to become the opposite. So be careful saying negative. It all becomes the opposite. In this case, it is negative, but not in every case. So y equals negative 3x minus 4. Minus 4, right? Everything became the opposite. Max?
Okay, so the first thing I did after I simplified was I added 2, and now my answer is x equals 4x plus 4 plus y.
I'll come check out your work.
Okay.
Normally we just trace down step by step by step. If you don't have negative 3x and negative 4 at the end, something went wrong. Go ahead and look at 5-4 and start trying to solve as many of those as possible. Examples on your paper, as we're going to go through, is on your homework paper, 5-4. Yes, you're not wrong. Your x's need to go together. Your 4 doesn't have anything to go with it. Now the y's over here in positive. You really just need to get rid of that 4x and get rid of that 4. So how do we get rid of that 4x? Yeah, and how do we get rid of that 4? Exactly. So we're going to do both of those things. And when you minus 4x, that's how you actually get to negative 3x. You're getting an answer. You know, x minus 4x gets negative 3x. Unless that confuses you about division. You could also just leave a little bit of gap. Mr. Wright. You said Mr. Hudson, so I said Mr. Wright. Well, that's kind of weird because people use that as like, they're like, oh, he's Mr. Wright. Yes, what can I do for you, Max?
I need some help with a problem.
Well, I need lots of help.
We know. We
No.
know, Mr. Hudson. We know.
go ahead. See doctor. Yeah, sold for X.
Oh, God.
Get that X
I
out.
thought it said sold for Y.
No, that'd be funny.
Excuse me?
Is this on our paper?
Yes, 5-4 is on your paper. I put all of these in nice format, so hopefully we have space beneath them. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to start writing the answers for these up on the board. As I've said before, it's not about the answer, it's about the process. So if your answer is not the same as mine, check your work, try to find your mistake. Gus, everybody can hear that. I was hoping you'd stop on your own. If you cannot figure out your mistake, then you want to ask me to solve it out for you. Also, I'm recording, so you can come back to these later if you want some extra practice and double check answers based off this. I would definitely start A by dividing both sides by 2 because that looks like the easier option.
Getting close.
Yes.
Wait, something for X.
Yes. Let's go.
This one's the one I'm confused about.
Which one?
E, because you can't determine it without knowing what Y is.
But you're going to give X in terms of Y. So you're right. What you said is true. What we're going to do to isolate the X, how do I get rid of this plus 6?
Divide by 3.
Well, we will do that. We could start with that, but I would rather first get rid of that 6. So minus 6 from both sides,
And then divide by 3.
and then divide by -3, which gets us X equals -1/3 Y, or you could have Y divided by -3 plus 2. Does that make sense how we would get there?
Can I just write 1/3 Y?
Because -6 divided by -3 is +2.
I'm so confused by B.
B. Yo, hey, please stop with the side chatter because when people say they're so confused, it's worth talking about. 2x plus 5y equals 10, trying to isolate for the x. So to get rid of the 5y, we subtract 5y off of both sides. Although what that becomes then is 2x equals 10 minus 5y. We then, to get rid of that 2, divide every piece of this equation by 2. 10 divided by 2 becomes 5. But the -5 divided by 2, you could either write as -2.5y, or you could leave it in fraction form, -5/2y.
If you're not fun.
Guys, here's the other reason we're collecting your homework tomorrow. Checking and collecting your homework tomorrow. The only way that you know what you can't do is by trying it. I can sit here and say, I can sink 10 free throws in a row. Nobody can say whether I can or can't do it unless I try it. I guarantee I cannot. But if you actually, and I know some of us got a little rocky in past chapters, if you actually put time into practice tonight,
Pardon the interruption. Allison Ridgway, please come to the office. Allison, please come to the office.
and if you actually care about getting answers wrong, like I don't care, like I'm not taking points off, right? Like it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, but we want to figure out why. If you actually care, especially about this first homework of the chapter, I guarantee you will get a solid foundation for this chapter. This homework is due tomorrow. We're checking it at the beginning of class, going over it at the beginning of class, and then turning it in. Please do not wait to do it. Please try it today and see if you're able to do these problems or if you need some help. Have a wonderful day. Oh, come on.
This is fun. I want to do more.
Sometimes we all need motivation to do our frickin' work. As I heard Max say from the back. So, will this motivate you that it's due tomorrow? Are you saying that's a good thing?
My mom is gonna start paying me a little bit of money for like each
Yeah. My dad used to pay me 10 cents for every question I got right, but if I got any wrong, I owed him, or if I got the whole assignment right, he'd pay me $1. If I got any wrong, I owed him 10 cents a piece. So in a week, like I could make like $5, or I could owe my dad like some money that, you know, he was my dad, so it's not like he ever really sent a debt collector for me. But all right, guys, y'all gotta get out of here. I know most of us would choose to do math over language, but it's okay.
My kids owe me my